There are nerves, there is expectation. This is the 2013 Rugby League World Cup.
Repeat.
To talk you through the opening game, Australia against England, Brian Noble has gone to join Jonathan Davis and Dave Woods.
It begins with a bang. There are two debut nations in this year's World Cup. Some unfamiliar mixing in with the familiar, but a first game, what better than the old foes, Australia against England. The Australian spine has a spine-tingling quality to it. Fullback Billy Slater, scrum half Cooper Cronk and hooker Cameron Smith all play together for Melbourne and Queensland, and you add to them some real superstar performers such as Greg Inglis and Jonathan Thurston. And after the week of throwing out and leaving out and walking out, this is the England side that strides out. There's some star quality there too. Sam Tompkins at fullback, Sam Burgess at loose forward. Debuts for the young Burgess twins. George starts, Thomas on the bench, and Brett Ferris comes straight into the side. The Rugby League world is about to get in motion. Cameron Smith, the heartbeat of Australia. Billy Slater, very much the Billy Whiz character at the back, and an important man in the middle, Henry Perenara, a New Zealander in amongst it all. To this boy, and England again will come up trumps in their own 10-metre line.
Sure, the pitch. You know, it looks very, very big pitch. A lot of spaces there. Look, even behind the behind the winger there, there's about 80 yards, isn't it? They broke down the short side. A couple of times Australia have had the ball now, and they've made a couple of breaks. We've got to stop those initial breaks, England, because they leak too many of them. The support play is good.
What we do know about this team, Dave, is that they won't let you off the hook that much. They'll start executing some of those plays as the game goes on, so you've got to limit their chances.
Head and feet for England, though. They get possession here. Here comes Josh Charnley, the winger, running it back and immediately finding a very muscular welcome party that stops him on that 10-metre line.
Very unusual, a prop catching you from a scrum.
Hill.
Cameron! Right.
Roby. Sinfield getting it away. Here comes Ferris running down that left channel, as we've seen him do so often with the league leader winners this year, Huddersfield Giants.
He's actually running well, Ferris. He's trying to get on the outside shoulder of his opposite second row.
Let's hear from the touchline. Tanya Arnold is speaking with Rob Burrow. Tanya.
Rob, so far so good. It's a good start from England, isn't it?
Yeah, that was part of the game plan, is to start big and really put it out there right from the kick-off. So so far so good.
And you've been practicing alongside George Burgess. He really is steaming into them.
Yeah, he's a big unit, so hopefully he can scatter these others about a bit, and people like Robes, Rangi and Kev can run the back of it.
Cheers, Rob.
Thank you.
I thought he was in trouble there, Billy Slater. He lost the ball for a while, but he's magnificent composure in taking it. Just watch this, and a long way to get to it. But that's what I like, the variety of the kicking. Tompkins, what happens is they get the ball wide to Tompkins, which is pulling the winger up, which is creating more space to kick into for Billy Slater to cover, which is a very good ploy.
Darius Boyd, who's run it towards that 30-metre line. Australia looking towards his left-hand side, but finding nowhere. That was lost, I think, by Greg Bird. Yes, it was. The referee says lost. Loose carry by the Australian back rower, so England get head and feet at the scrum here inside the Australian half.
He's hurt as well as Bird. I think he banged his melon on the turf there. Watch this. As he goes down, I'm sure he banged. Boom, get that into you. That's why he dropped the ball.
And a little Burgess elbow coming on top of him. So, but I do think if someone like Bird, he does give a little bit of chops in, I just feel that you can get under his skin a little bit, and he gets a little bit ratty and loses a bit of discipline. Got to play on it.
Sinfield to feed. Picked up by Roby, who's standing in the loose forwards position. Rangi Chase helps it on, and Ferris now takes it up for the first time in this set.
I tell you what, from a scrum, they put Billy Slater in the scrum and Sam Thaiday in the centre, the second row. Oh, unlucky.
Quick hands, but it came off Inglis. Now, as the referee sees this as a knock-on, he does. First knock-on, England's head and feet.
It was unlucky. It was a good set play, that, from the scrum. Third play coming back, and It's a bit better execution. They were down the sideline there, England. Watch just gets his hand to this.
But again, they've no attack in the outside centres, aren't they? The outside player. But again, going back to the scrum, just to make them think, if they're going to swap and change and put, Billy said, look, just watch it now. Going to scrum, look, there's Sam Thaiday in the second row, you got Bird, or you got Gallen there, a prop, right? Next scrum that they get, put a kick in and just chase it. Get the wingers chasing it. It's a chance of a try, you make them think.
Well, it was a scrappy ball that came out from the back of that scrum, and again a little bit of a slip there as Roby takes it forward. Offside, Australia.
It's the backs.
And it's a proper penalty, not a differential penalty, so it is kickable. They can kick this.
Don't ask me this time, Dave. Got it wrong last time.
I'd play on.
Yep.
Well, that's exactly what Kevin Sinfield is doing. Keep looking at this clock, 40 minutes played. England still lead by 4 points to 0. And it is still English smiles for the moment. Here comes Hill. Roby's the man at dummy half. He's going to have a little bit of a dabble, and he gets it away to Ferris.
Great play.
Almost found a way through. England put down, only 2 strides away, and another penalty, so another set of 6.
Great play by Roby, James Roby. Amazing play, just gets out of the blocks, subtracts the outside defender and just puts someone in a hole.
So first drive by Hill, with 5 more tackles to come, and he's put down within a couple of strides from glory. Roby to chase. Inside now, George Burgess with a big hit forward, and still going, Burgess, still going, eventually put down.
He got that down.
Oh, he might have got it over the line. He reached a big hand out there.
That would be
and
it.
he's put the square in the air. He's going for the video replay. Now we're going to hear from the video referee. Ben Thaler is our video referee, so let's hear, is this try or no try?
Okay, so we're looking, this will be tackle 2. We've got to see if the ball is grounded. At this point, he has possession of the ball clearly. And we're looking to see if the ball ends up on the ground. From that, it looks like it's lost.
I'm not sure.
And I think the ball's actually come out of his grasp. So you can see the ball clearly in his hands. There's no Australian hands near him. So the ball's come out of his fingers there, and the ball is lost. Can we just have another look to see where the ball ends up, to see what the restart is? I think it's lost over the line. So it's going to be a no try, and it's going to be a 20-metre restart.
So we heard the explanation, and here comes confirmation on the big screen from the point of view of the stadium, and you can hear the ooze of disappointment from an English support that felt that George Burgess had scored that, but he is denied.
That's an amazing effort, though. You just said that the damage he's causing. He's just taking the ball in, and 2 or 3 defenders, they can't drop him. Quick play the ball, such an advantage.
Well, the Australians know all about him because he's been over there all year, so they know he's a big trucker, and they know they've got to get in front of him, and he just couldn't quite keep his grip on the ball there and getting the ball over the line. So
a few BBC executives are grateful that Brian put his teeth in properly this morning. 60 minutes played, Australia 0, England 4. A lot of depression and pessimism in the England, or not in the England camp, but around the England camp, building up to this game, but they're putting that to bed here with a fine performance and forcing another knock-on here. This time it's Paul Gallen who can't keep hold of it. Forward pass maybe anyway, but head and feet for England, still inside the Australian half.
I think they were lucky there. Maybe there's an early tackle there. That's what Gallen was looking for.
Well, I think this is a measure of the amount of pressure England are putting on Australia. They're trying to play the way out of trouble when normally they're methodical themselves and just ruck the ball out and kick it into the corners. But I'm really impressed with what England are throwing up at the beginning of this game.
I mean, what they're doing is they're really disrupting the rhythm of the Australians, who are usually in control.
Here comes Tompkins around that blind side. A little bit of a zip into the attack in the first instance. Once they get up and play it quickly, Roby, they still go left. Here comes Ferris now. He'll clatter in there. No stranger to these players. He did go, despite being 25th man, he did go to South Africa on the pre-tournament training camp. And Burgess again.
Great feet.
George Burgess again.
Great feet for the big man, Dave.
Roby now, up at dummy half. This is Hill, running into a little pocket. of no resistance and trying to get the offload away. It goes to ground. It's picked up by Billy Slater, who will run it back.
Danger.
Lost his feet a little, otherwise it might have been even more dangerous, but as it is, England's defence recovers and have given a penalty away just to relieve the Australians.
England are in the ascendancy here, Dave. They're punching holes in this Australian team and they're finding it hard to keep into the game, and then compounding that with errors. The Australian normally it's the tail of the tape on the other side, and there we see Hill with his mistake, unfortunately, that let Australia off the hook. But I'm really encouraged by what England are doing here. What you mustn't do is lose concentration.
And Brian Noble, just talk about these two starting props, Chris Hill and George Burgess, who between them have 3 international caps. What an impact they've made so far.
Well, it looks like they've got 33 between them, don't they? They look really composed and really efficient, and they're belting people coming the other way as well. Look at that.
Brilliant start.
This is Fafita, Andrew Fafita, who's making his Australian debut today. Off from the bench, the prop of the year in the Australian game. Cutcho out there, Watkins rather out there, and he's done very well because he's forced that error. It was a knock-on, a forward pass, and the referee saw an English knock-on as well, but he said we'll go for the first mistake, so it's England's head and feet at the scrum.
Yeah, in momentum, I think, majority of the 18 minutes has been with England, but again, the one man coming out there for the pass scores is 2-on-1. Very good work on this occasion by Callum Watkins, but they've got to go in or stay out together.
Yeah, that'd be a slight worry for me, and we got away with it there, but Callum Watkins needs to work all the time with Josh Charnley, because it's a combination, that unity on that fringe, and your defensive decisions will make the difference.
Yeah.
So if one goes, they both go, is that what you're saying?
One in, they're all going in.
On that occasion it was just the one, wasn't it, Callum Watkins. Here comes Roby, out from dummy half. We saw in the build-up to this game some really iconic moments from England / Great Britain Australia clashes over the years. Could this go into the annals of history? Ben Westwood with another solid surge. Let's not get carried away with ourselves. Only 20 minutes played, less than that. Rangi Chase. Now it's Tompkins. Tompkins back looking for a bit of space in which to run. Oof.
I'm glad they've turned the pressure into points. Crucial.
10 points to 0. Quarter of the game gone. Encouraging from an England point of view, but with an hour still to go, a long way from the job being done. And he knows that his side need to react, Tim Sheens, the Australian coach. He wasn't in charge when they lost in 2008. He was appointed more or less as a result of that defeat. Ricky Stewart losing the job not long afterwards. Here comes Westwood down the middle. The ball's gone to ground. It's dropped on by Matthew Scott. Australia have it back again here. And here's Cameron Smith. Jonathan Thurston playing it left, and Greg Inglis, who's a giant of a player.
Well, the viewers, important of this game is if you win, you avoid New Zealand in the semi-final, which it should be an easier route to the final, because New Zealand look exceptionally strong.
Well, that is in the conclusion that New Zealand top their group, and they do play at Samoa tomorrow at Warrington, don't they? And that might be a bit of a banana skin for them, but as form goes, that would certainly be the case. Here comes Corey Parker. Rolling up, Cameron Smith at dummy half. Looks to his left, where Thurston is waiting. Thurston with a kick up. Watkins, and then collected by Kevin Sinfield, a super catch. The offload to Charnley before Australia have regathered their thoughts, and England as quick as a flash are up to the 20-metre mark.
Yeah, good pressure on Thurston as well.
Great catch, Kevin Sinfield. Great carry. Burgess.
Sam Burgess. Just say Burgess. It's likely to be one of the three, because I think they're all at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah. Quick, the ball is brilliant. Oh,
Tom Burgess. Not long on from the interchange bench, but the mistake there has given a little bit of a glimmer back to Australia here.
Just a couple of mistakes now on just near the halfway line, gives Australia a platform to attack.
If you want to get in touch, by the way, rugbyleague@bbc.co.uk is the email address. At BBC Sport, hashtag BBCRL. If you're with us on Twitter, Facebook as well, facebook.com/BBC Sport and Instagram.com/BBC Sport.
He's so dangerous, Billy Slater. Rangi Chase went, beyond him there, and he was just at the fairest to get to him. Sometimes that's a lot to ask of a second row. That is that defensive pattern.
Here's Cooper Cronk. Gallen twists and turns and puts himself in the heat of the battle, but 15 metres out he's put down, so Cameron Smith moves up at dummy half again. Tackles in the bag here, they've still got 3 to go. Smith tries to bring on one of the big fellas. Fifita is driving firmly, but there are 3 English players hanging on. Cameron Smith, Fifita stumbles, takes the penalty. It's going to be another set here. You can't imagine Australia going for goal. They're going to pummel this English line for another 6 tackles.
What are you doing? Let me get out of your way.
So big test for this English defence here. Big test for the Australian attack.
Step.
Corey Parker, can they finally gel here, the green and golds?
Release that name.
Cameron Smith throwing it left to Thurston, who brings on Paul Gallen, another of those 5 who survived from the 2008 Cup final. Smith, Inglis.
Good defence.
Big arms put round him by another big man, Sam Burgess. Slap round the shoulders. Welcome here, my son. Smith plays it on again. Oh, and a little stumble and a reach by Greg Bird, but he's not going to get there. England hanging on. Bird will play it. Smith throws it back. This is Thurston now. Into the hands of Cooper Cronk. England still fronting up. Tom Burgess, or Thomas as he'd rather be known on this occasion. Here comes Cronk. Australia trying to go it through. Quick hands here. Thurston with a kick to the corner. Bounces up nicely for Sam Tompkins. And England survive. A monumental spell of pressure.
Great skill there, though, by Thurston. A good defence again.
Well, England are up to everything that Australia are throwing them at the moment, and that's a great sign for the team.
It's a great sign for the tournament, isn't it? You know, I mean, there were a lot of doubters. A lot of doubters building up to this game. But a lot of those doubts are being put to one side here, aren't they?
Absolutely.
There's too many good players.
And we've said that all week. There are too many good players, and they're ready for this challenge.
The questions were going to be asked, can they control the game from the half-back? And so far, they have done exceptionally well. Sinfield and Chase. Great kick.
That is a terrific kick. Terrific kick, which holds up, does it? Yes, it does! Not quite. It was an inch too long, and you can forgive him that. Tap back on the 20.
Wide. We're good.
Billy Slater with a tap. Here comes Darius Boyd. There it is. There it is. Just an extra roll. He was cool there, wasn't he, Billy Slater?
Move!
He had a big job to do had it not taken that extra roll. Oh, Brent Tate. There's a special neck brace, you'll notice, because of an injury he got in a test match back in 2003. Oh, here's Slater again, flying onto that inside ball from Cronk. Fide's the man up at dummy half here, less than 40 metres away, but only 2 tackles to go. This is Cronk. Well met, he has put it over. It is 6 points now for Australia and 10 for England. Just under half an hour played of this opening game at Rugby League World Cup 2013. And remember that we've got live action every week now on a Saturday afternoon here on the BBC, all the way through to the final at Old Trafford on November the 30th, and every match from this tournament live on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra as well. Sinfield's kick. Here comes a return from Australia again. The green and golds looking for territory. And it's an England side who have started well, who've shown plenty of self-confidence, but maybe 1 or 2
Good
setbacks.
tackle. It's possession, look, England dominant, possession and territory. But, you know, with all that dominance, 4 points.
But as you mentioned just after the last try, with this team, you can't allow them into your field, and those couple of errors did.
Oh, that's
great.
A good hit
Finish
by
it.
Ryan Hall. Good hit by Ryan Hall to dislodge the ball, but
on.
it has gone forward. Now, who's he giving this against? Against Ryan Hall?
It's the same as one over here. Exactly the same as one with Greg Inglis.
Yep. He said that Ryan Hall's knocked on here, and so it's Australia's head and feet. It hasn't gone down well with the locals.
Yeah, I think there was one on the other side where Greg Inglis was hit, and so he's evened it up. He's saying, that's the rules I'm playing. During contact, it's consistent.
He's consistent, isn't he? And that's important.
Just my point just before the big shot from Ryan Hall was, don't give Australia any free ball. And Jonathan mentioned that the 2 errors on halfway from England, they can't afford to do that.
Sinfield in to make the tackle. Thurston up from dummy half as Australia through Gallen punch their way beyond the halfway line. Picked up from dummy half by Inglis now. Back to the middle again. Here's Corey Parker.
Bit of a roll on now. They've took the tempo up a little bit.
Cronk looked forward there, didn't it?
Yeah, but
from Cooper Cronk.
Fifita's made a difference, mind. He's gone forward, he's given him a platform for Fifita.
He got married the Sunday before they left, and he should have been on his honeymoon now. I think the England forwards were hoping he would be. Here comes Cooper Cronk. Again. Little jiggle of the hips takes Australia to within 10 metres, but on the sixth tackle, Cameron Smith again. Thurston's caught in possession. Wasn't expecting that, and you don't see that often between those Queensland teammates, do you? A little lack of understanding and a lack of communication.
Yeah, but Cronk was at to play the ball as well, so...
Just a little bit of a worry for me in that last set, the ease of the go-forward Australia. Stick in there, England, get in their faces and force the error as you were earlier in the game.
It's 10 minutes now where you've got to dig deep. Absolutely dig deep. If you can go into the sheds, 4 points in front, that's a good shift.
I tell you what we do have, that's a terrific hit forward again by Tom Burgess. What we do have is a rather strange atmosphere in here. It's not the gung-ho, tub-thumping, come on England that you would expect from a so-called home crowd here. I know we're in Wales, but there's a lot of English supporters in here. There's Sinfield, maybe they're nervous.
Good kick.
Here's Sinfield with a
Great
kick, taken superbly by Brett Morris on that right-hand side.
Don't you just love this game? There are boys out there, world-class athletes, absolutely belting each other and playing good rugby and great skill and great running. And don't you just love it? That's like that. Get that in there. This is rugby at its best.
Rangy Chase have that.
Australia looking to trundle forward again here. England looking to get in their faces if they can. Cameron Smith from dummy half. 3 tackles gone. Slater gets it away quickly. Thaiday trying to pull it in and offload, but he's being watched well enough by Leroy Kutcher.
Very impressive defensive line speed of England. Both on the fringes. They know the danger.
Cronk.
Good angle. Good
Quickly on again to Tex.
Ferris, good tackle, Ferris.
Cameron Smith. Here comes Cooper Cronk with a kick. Charnley's the best bet here for England, and he's taken it safely enough. No, Greg Inglis lurking on that occasion. He's taken it safely.
That's
well
really
played, well played, Callum Watkins and Kevin Sinfield, who gave him the best opportunity to catch that ball.
Yeah,
they stood as protection as the Australian runners were coming through, so there was no English to get above Josh Charnley there. By English, I don't mean English, I mean Inglis.
I think we know what you meant. Here's Sam. Roby up from dummy half. Just towards the 40-metre mark. Sam Tomkins now takes over that acting half-back's role. It's Rangy Chase with a kick. That's a good one, because I think it's going to hit grass. It does, so Billy Slater has a bit more work to do. It bounces kindly for him. He'll ask and invite Brett Morris to take it forward, but the England chase is good enough to stop them there.
This is a good game, Dave. This is a good tactical game. This is a good nervous game. Your crowd are nervous. They're intense. They're into this.
Left it comes to Inglis. Carries that ball in that big left arm of his and tries to fend with the right, but England defenders are not going to let themselves be bullied in that way.
Into his teammate.
This is Greg Bird.
Let go. Come on, Sam.
Here's Darius Boyd. Now Paul Gallen. Cameron Watkins putting the shoulder in there on the legs of Gallen. Cronk rushed out quickly by Carl Ablett, so the kick's away, but maybe not as he would have wanted, and Tomkins can catch and looks to get back towards the 20 and just beyond.
Billy, let him go.
Carl Ablett is on the field for a moment. It looks as though he's going to be dummy half there. Here comes Ryan Hall, looking to feed the wing from which he's come.
They're sharing their work out. They're prepared to leave their wings and get involved and get down and dirty, as they say.
Cameron, let him go, let him go.
There are a few reputations being made here on an international stage by England players, and a few being reconfirmed. Oh, that's lost. Lost.
Big hit. For Fifita again. No, it wasn't for Fifita.
Here's Cronk. This is
This
Thurston. Thurston with a dummy and a big arm from Sam Burgess, sweeping down and knocking that ball clear.
Desperate tackle by Sam Burgess.
He did it as well, didn't it?
He was through. Just watch.
Gets his hand on the ball.
He was through. That was a try all over it.
It's moments like that win test matches, isn't it, as much as the try-scoring moments at the other end.
Well, Darius Boyd was in under the sticks.
So England looking to expand again. Ferris gets it back to Sinfield, who keeps it alive to Roby, and Roby hands it on again. There's a crossing motion here.
I don't think he tried to do that. He just smashed the pair of them, Sam Burgess. Just run his line. He didn't have the ball. He didn't try. Just watch. He runs the line, look.
Yeah, he's not. Greg Bird's every right to try and tackle. I think he was looking over his brother there, Sam.
Tackles made, 67 by England, 63 by Australia.
Oh, yeah.
And Ben Westwood, the leading tackler at the moment, with 21. He gets through some work. I know the connoisseurs of the game, and I think I'll put Brian Noble in that category. You like the Ben Westwoods of this world, don't you?
I do. I think he adds a lot to a team. I think he's endeavour, and he's got some great skill as well, Ben Westwood, and he's tough.
Big set of 6, this.
Hitch began. Cameron Smith, off he goes with a dummy, shows it Borton. Cooper Cronk carries on, and Cronk's put down less than 10 metres away. Smith again, thought about the right side, brings it back to the middle. Here comes Gallen, stoutly propping himself forward, having a go at one, swinging away from the first defender, then caught by the second and the third. But again, the penalty is seen by the New Zealand referee. And Australia get another 6.
They had to reorganise their full defensive line. Sam Burgess then had to move 15 metres. He didn't make it. He just didn't make that ground up. And Billy Slater, as we said, he's too quick and too good. And we spoke about England concentrating for every second, and that was a lapse, a real lapse. And that would be the real disappointing try of the half for them.
And Steve McNamara will be saying in the England dressing room that, remember what you did in that first 20 minutes. This scoreline is not insurmountable.
Not in the slightest. I think they need to take confidence in what they were actually doing in the first place, which was going forward, keeping hold of the ball, controlling the ruck and the territory. They were just miles in front. And the disappointing thing is, it's then they started making the errors. When they started getting a little bit more tired, they can't do that. They can't make mistakes.
Well, we have a highlights programme during the Rugby League World Cup tomorrow. 10 to midnight on BBC One, straight after the match of the day too. You'll be able to see it again on Monday lunchtime on BBC Two. And every game will be live on 5 Live or 5 Live Sports Extra. So tomorrow from 3:30, you've got Papua New Guinea against France, followed by the holders New Zealand against Samoa. And don't forget, comprehensive coverage on the BBC Sport website, and all the programmes are repeated on the BBC iPlayer. And don't forget that this afternoon, this is just the first of a 2-game double bill on the BBC. Later on, we will have Wales taking on Italy. You'll be able to see that game over on BBC Two when the England-Australia game has finished. Well, I'm delighted to say that we've been joined in the studio by Ray French, who'll be commentating on Wales against Italy, because after 32 years, as many people will know, this will be your last game live, calling it for BBC television.
I wondered why you got me with makeup on and to come in the studio, because I haven't been in here for about 32 years. It will be. I'm doing the semi-final, and then we'll call it a day with the commentaries.
But you're still going to be involved. You'll still be on Radio Merseyside, and we'll still use you as an expert and as a pundit, because we are not going to let that wealth of knowledge go to waste. So you're still going to be involved with us.
Well, I hope so. I want to be involved. It's been a passion all my life. I can't keep away from it. My wife sits at home, and she gets on with life and allows me to watch rugby league and all sorts of rugby.
She's a dream woman, Ray. She's a dream woman, is Helen. Listen, can you pick one moment out over your 32 years of commentary? I think there've been many moments. I mean, watching Martin Offiah dancing there, I remember him dancing through at Wembley with that terrific try, no doubt about it. And I remember a little lad, Jamie Sandy, for Castleford on the wing, going 50 yards, he's going to make it, and he did. Nerves, I think my first Wembley was when the armed forces invaded the Falklands, and I got a message. I hadn't been commentating 10 minutes, and I got a message in my ear saying, Ray, you've got to go to the news. I think it was Jan Leeming who was doing the news at the time. She's about to announce an invasion of the Falklands. You need to introduce it. And I thought, oh my God,
this is a historic occasion. And I'm actually trying to commentate, on Hull have got the ball, send it out wide, blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying to write a few notes on this, and I'm thinking, I'll make a mess of this. Anyway, I did manage to get over to it, and that was it.
Well, you have been the voice of this game for all of us sat in this studio as we grew up, and it's been a personal honour to work with you over the last couple of years. And I first met you as a 14-year-old boy in the truck when I got taken round, and you were a gentleman and a scholar then when I first met you, and you still are to this day, and you mean a lot to a lot of people in rugby league, so thank you for everything that you have done.
Well, thank you, man. I've got to thank everybody in rugby league, because it is a great game in the sense there's a great camaraderie about it. The players, like these lads, are so approachable. You can walk in the dressing room, you have access to whatever, you can speak to anybody, and there is a great friendship about the game, and it just develops the whole spirit that's there.
We look forward to Wales against Italy in your company. Thank you very much, Ray. Come on, England, in this second half. I'm allowed to be biased, surely, on a day like this. And let's rejoin Brian Noble and Jonathan Davis and Dave Woods.
Hold on, Cam.
So big job for England to do in this second half. Australia will feel that they've just got their ship back on an even keel. England starting superbly well and leading by those 10 points to nil with a quarter of the game gone, but Australia clawing it back, and we have this situation. Australia lead by 18 points to 10 with the second half getting underway. So first try in this second period, pretty important, isn't it?
Yep.
Rangi Chase will take on the ball in his own in-goal area, and the drive forward will take England beyond that 10-metre line and looking to make some big indentations on this Australian line in the opening moments. Forward goes George Burgess, who's had an impressive debut today. His first international game, of course, having starred for Souths all year. Roby looking to the blind side before kicking out from dummy half. Now, if this bounces and goes out of play, it's a 40-20. Billy Slater's done fantastically well to keep it in play. The acrobatics are extraordinary. It should have been England's head and feet, but it's Australia who have the ball instead.
And that's why all our viewers need to recognise that these are the best rugby players on the planet. They're absolutely fantastic at their job, meticulous. But look at that leap and back into the play. For our viewers, if that goes out, it means a head and feed at the scrum to England. And Billy Slater wasn't going to let that happen.
Well, he's just diffused what would have been a fantastic start to the second half for England. As it is, Australia who get to go through the motions of their set of 6. Hammered forward by Corey Parker, the Brisbane veteran. Just short of the halfway line. Cameron Smith up just behind him. Cronk with a kick. Tompkins across with a catch. And a bit of open field, but he's inviting on Josh Charnley to have a go here, who thought he might have found a bit of a gap between those two defenders, but he's brought down well enough by Luke Lewis and James Tarman.
Luke Lewis is on. He's a very fine player. He'll be dangerous. He'll run good angles. He will.
There's a bit of an age to this Australian side, though, isn't there? You talk about Luke Lewis. He's going to be 30 before this tournament's finished. Corey Parker's 31. And Gallen's 32. There's a bit of age in there, isn't there? Does that matter?
No. 30 and 31, and the way these people look after each other and then their physical preparation in their bodies, they're going to 34 and 35 now, and they'll probably suggest that they're at the peak of their football.
But also there's a lot of youngsters coming through. That's one thing about the league game in Australia. A lot of depth. It's a very good kick.
Slater with a take, runs it back, tackled well by Sam Tompkins on the 10-metre line. So let's hear what was said in the Australian dressing rooms at half-time. Here's Damien Johnson.
Well, Dave, the message from Tim Sheens, the Australia coach, must start the second half better. That was poor, he said. We have to match England's intensity. They expect England to come out at them all guns blazing in the second half. And he ordered his players to check their boots. There's too much slipping and sliding out there, he said. We have to play the second 40 as we played the last 20 minutes of the first half, firing on all cylinders.
The end of the first half and start of the second half. Josh Charnley saying he didn't put his foot in touch. He's confident of that, and I agree with him.
Every picture tells a story.
But the difference, Dave, you know, like Brian said, Billy Slater sprinted for the ball, didn't he? You've got to give that little bit more. Sprint to the ball, you have more time on the ball, rather if you just jog to it and then rush the last couple of steps. But Charnley's, you know, unlucky with the decision, but referees or assistant referees' decision is final.
So Jonathan Thurston with a kick.
Big
That
call.
will take Australia to a 3-score lead here. 22-10 at the moment. Oh, he's pushed that a long way wide. He's disappointed with that, but it is still England 10, Australia 22. Let's hear from the England camp right now. Tanya Arnold has been hearing what they had to say at half-time.
Barnett spelt it out to his team. He said this is why these are called test matches. Teams like Australia will test us in all areas. He's urged the side to get back to what they were doing in that first 20 minutes of the first half. So they've moved away from the game plan. They've got to complete their sets and tighten up on their handling.
Simcoe with a kick. Caught safely enough by Slater. So driven back again by Paul Gallen and Brian Noble. The match very much in the balance here now, isn't it? 22 points to 10. This could go either way at this stage. England could battle back, Australia could run away with it.
Yeah, of course it could, but that, you know, that element of testing every facet as a person, that is what the Australians do, and that's why they are test matches. You know, you have to concentrate of every second of every set, and what we see now is Australia doing the basics pretty well.
Yep.
Which is what they're pretty good at as well. When they have to do the tough stuff and just rock the ball out to get to a kick, they'll do that too.
Cameron Smith up from dummy half and carries it on now to Cronk on the inside ball, and Ferris with a very meaty challenge, but it was an England touch.
I don't think he touched the ball, did he? It's an interesting decision, that.
I thought Slater dropped that ball.
Oh, and Smith has dropped the ball. Or was it?
One-on-one.
One-on-one. Knock on by England.
It is one-on-one.
It's just, you know, like when you have a look at the bounce, the calls of the referee, at the moment everything's swinging Australia's way. So
let's have a look. Does he knock on?
No.
Well, the England player didn't knock on. Ferris didn't knock on, and he adjudicated that he did. It was Slater that dropped the ball, surely.
I think no one got it.
Dig in. These are the periods where you dig in so you can stay in the game.
Yeah. All the way in, all the way behind the stump.
7 minutes of the second half play.
Out.
Cronk with a feed. Out it comes. Cameron Smith on the 13th roll on that occasion. There's Brent Tate.
Hold here. Go.
35 metres away from that England line. Lewis helping it on, and eventually into the hands of James Tarmo.
James Roby! Come on now.
So 4 tackles to go here. It's Cameron Smith who takes it on, and Thurston to that left-hand side. England's defence is hanging on here, and it has to do. Cameron Smith again, 4 lined up to his left. And that's the way he goes, and Thurston running around the back of them all.
Up now, Callum!
Callum Watkins with a good enough tackle on that occasion. This is Gallen.
Good tackle.
It was Burgess again. It was George Burgess on that occasion who came rocking into him. But Australia get up and get on with it. The kick from Cronk, and Hall might have let that go, but he wasn't going to take the risk. And in that situation has conceded a dropout underneath the sticks.
And again, you know,
He didn't have much option there, did he,
No,
Jiffy? He's got to play at this ball. He can't run the risk of it bouncing back. Maybe as the ball was rolling, he could have put one foot in and one foot out, but at that speed, and you don't get a chance to have a committee meeting, do you?
No, you've got to make a call, and that's it. We always know, Brian says about basics, right? If you do the basics well, it doesn't matter what level you play at, you will be comfortable. That's all the Australians are doing now.
This is a test of England's resolve here now, is it? This is a real test of the spirit that we've been told is good in the England camp. This is where it really is pressured to possibly breaking point. Australia turning the screw. England needing to hang on, already 12 behind. Luke Lewis with a drive in. Another wave of green and gold attack. Cronk with a short pass. The flat one to Gallen. Gallen galloping, but gathered in by those 3. Cameron Smith. Left it goes again. England being tested now. Back to the middle once more. This is Tarmo. Carries the ball in one hand. Skittled over by the tackle of Ferris. Up it's picked quickly again. Cronk now throws it wide to this right-hand flank, and Tate enveloped by a host of England players. Cronk with a kick. England's defence. Watkins got a touch. Charnley picks it up. Charnley runs it away. Back to the safety of the 10-metre line, and he's fouled as he did. So a penalty for England.
Great take though, inches away from it. Greg England, just watch. Callum Watkins, fantastic effort there.
Well, the penalty is a real reliever for England because it has taken them to just short at the halfway line.
And we haven't seen England here for a while, have we?
No.
This is Rangi Chase. It's Tompkins in the line. Little step by Kudja. Have you rated his performance today, Brian Noble? Leroy Kudja.
Yeah, I think all the England players have gone well. It's just those simple errors. Get that into you. Just those simple errors in and around the middle of the field just before half-time that invited Australia back into the game. I think England are handling themselves really well.
That's the difference, isn't it? That is the only difference.
Bit too much from Paul Gallen on that occasion. The Cronulla loose forward. So the penalty for England. He's a tough customer, Paul Gallen. They have in Australia, for those who don't follow rugby league, a huge match or a huge series of matches every year, the state of origin. He plays for New South Wales. He was punching Nate Miles in the first of those games, but they're now Aussie teammates. And he likes to leave his mark. As does George Burgess, who's found himself less than 12 metres away. This is Rangi Chase, and then Sam Burgess comes on at power and pace. Kevin Sinfield kicks the goal. It's back on, boys. It's back on. The opening game of the Rugby League World Cup.
Chris Hill and George Burgess, and two big units to stop there. Again, it's a difficult decision for any defender on the road. He makes the right one, and it's Cooper Cronk who they isolate, and George Burgess finishes the play. And that just goes to show when England look after the ball and they get to the right part of the field, the element of lack of discipline from Australia, 2 penalties, and England are a threat too.
51 minutes played. It's a match still to be decided, and England doing what they need to do to get themselves back into this contest. Can they step it up from here now? Australia will be fighting hard to dampen the spirits.
Go, that's good, 2.
Here's Westwood, good offload as well as the tackle was made, and
Luke Lewis, get out!
Another strider too.
Yeah, the ball was on there, just a little bit flat. The players were.
Rangi Chase back on the inside. George Burgess had to make sure he got hold of the ball before he could really run with menace, which held up the momentum just a little bit. Westwood to Sinfield, and here comes Tompkins, and there goes Watkins, who steps on the outside of one man and lays it on to Charnley, and Charnley's put down, only 35 out. 5 tackles gone though. England on the last. Tompkins has a look up, sees that there may be an option of a high kick. Up it goes. Is allowed to bounce, taken by Morris, who takes a step back and runs at that England line and almost gets through. But England recover in time to make the tackle a good one.
So they've got to do it.
Another good set from England.
Yeah.
Here's Tate.
James Ivey!
Morris just very good the screens, just looking as though he might be a little worse for the wear of that latest contact.
Come on now, George.
Cameron Smith is the man of 40-20 success this time. So here comes Tompkins. Rangi Chase. A nervous Jonathan Davis as Rangi Chase bounces off and holds on.
I thought he could have got smashed there, Rangi Chase. It was on.
This is Ryan Hall.
Cameron! Hold him, Matt. Hold him.
53 minutes of the contest gone.
No, Luke. It's true.
Kutcher.
James Samuel! Come on,
Roby
play with me.
into the acting half position again. Westwood again, a willing runner. But he hands it on to Sinfield and quickly on to Hill.
Corey, get up,
Chris Hill crashing forward.
Oh, no.
Here's Roby.
Outside.
He's looking for the touch. He's looking for touch, not the best of kicks.
No, and that's nothing kick really. I think it just sliced it off his foot.
So let's hear from Sonia Arnold, who's with Zach Hardacre.
Zach, it's in the balance this game. What do you want to see England do to tip it your way?
Well, the game plan that we've been working on for the last 2 weeks, we put to use in the first 20 minutes of the first half, and it came up for us. So the talk at dressing room was let off the back end of the first half there, and you know, if we stick to the game plan like I said that we've been doing for a couple of weeks, then I reckon we'll have Australia. The few times we've used it, we've come up chumps.
Cheers, Zach.
Right, thank you.
Let's come straight out, Sam.
Punch and counter punch. That's what England have to concern themselves with here. How Australia react to this situation. Here they go. Down that left-hand side through Inglis. He's dragged down short of the halfway line. Played quickly enough. Darius Boyd comes scurrying towards the middle here. Not seen too much of him so far in this game. This now is Cameron Smith. Matthew Scott.
Let go, James! Come on, Ben, one more.
Up and plays. Cameron Smith again now. Here comes Cooper Cronk and across Lewis gets it away to Slater with the inside ball, and Morris is there, a willing runner, but Ryan Hall had tracked him all the way and pulls him down. 15 metres away. Australia looking to press again here. Smith to Cronk. This is Thurston. Into that line. Watkins had him measured up there as soon as Bird had that ball. Watkins was in with a tackle, but that's the fifth. Australia with one play left in this set. Cronk with a kick. Oh, and Watkins juggles, keeps a hold, and England diffuse the problems again.
Well done, Callum Watkins. 2 plays in those last 2 plays defensively. He came in and stopped the play on the Australians, and then he sprinted back to his line and handled the kick when it was fiddled through by Cronk.
Yeah.
Here's Westwood.
I think they get a good charge and how quickly they will, as the Australians did, try and get an early kick and relieve the pressure, take a little bit of pressure off their forwards.
There's Thomas Burgess.
I think the longer this game goes, Dave and Jonathan, the longer this game goes and England can hold on to position, I think we'll see the Australians creaking for the fact that they haven't played for 7 or 8 weeks.
And worth mentioning the little shake-up in the middle there. Sinfield at 9 now, Widdop on the pitch.
Yeah.
There's the kick. So having a look round, Roby's gone off, hasn't he? So Sinfield is now playing in that dummy half role, and Widdop on the pitch as well alongside Rangi Chase. There he is.
It's very difficult, but you know, I know not selection, but sometimes I do wish Rob Burrow was there, because he does do something, doesn't he? He's very difficult.
He'd certainly pick out a tight defender.
He would. But you know, only 17 players you can pick.
Here's Tama. Driving it forward, carting it into that England line. 4 of them hanging on, holding on, pulling him down. So Cameron Smith chimes up there, and too long in the ruck. Westwood was claiming he was being held on to by the Australian player.
Let's have a look, see if he was. Certainly not with his left arm, he wasn't.
And it just gives the Australians a little time to settle here again.
Yeah.
Cameron Smith will punch that ball out of play. So the tap restart will be 10, 12 metres inside English territory.
Now wait. Go.
Inglis with a tap. Here's Cronk, and driven in by Corey Parker.
Get up now, Lee!
Cameron Smith at dummy half.
Oh, you're holding him. Get
4
up.
to his left.
Hold here.
8 to his right. He's going to go left. Little ball off it on the inside run of Greg Bird.
Move, Sam! George, hold here.
Smith again. Now the Australians will go to this right-hand side. Cooper Cronk with it. Thurston, short and flat for Luke Lewis to hammer his considerable bulk of that England line.
Just winning the...
Knocked on.
Well, I think they were all play on, Dave, except for the last one where he knocked on.
That's a great play, though. That's a great short side play.
Well, the referee's just asking the touch judge here as to how the restart should go.
Ben?
Yeah,
he's going for the video replay.
Okay.
So the video replay here, not to see if a try's been scored, but just to look at how this game should restart.
We're looking for obstruction first.
Okay. Yes, mate. Just restart, mate. Sam.
So have a look at this. What about the tackle, first of all, by Tompkins?
Now England goes to him. Is he in touch? I need to look on that, see if there's a knock. Is he in touch? That's what I'm looking for. Is he in touch? So is he in touch? Right, we're looking to see if the foot is on the line. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, there. We'll go back to that one, please. I can't see if the foot is on the line. Do we have an angle from behind? There, is the foot on the line? I need an angle from behind. Now that foot's up in the air. That foot is on the line, so it's touch. Henrik's touch, scrum down, England ball.
Thank you.
So scrum down England's head and feet here. I think the other option would have been a tap back on the 20 anyway, wouldn't it? So, but anyway, it was never going to be a try. That's.
It was a good play down the short side, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Tompkins cover tackle there. How good was that?
Yeah, pretty good. Needed doing, didn't it?
Sweet. Time on, scrum.
Well, a little messy here, but we are going to get time back on shortly.
He said to just put his foot out. He's gone out before he's put
Explanation by the referee to the players as to why he's given England's head and feet at the scrum here.
Sorry, mate. Come on.
Raggy Chase will feed it. And Ryan Hall is the first man to drive it forward.
Up now, Luke! Come on, hold it, Sam. Hold. Go.
Sinfield.
Move, Matt Scott!
From Burgess to his feet.
Go. 2.
Tim Sheens just a little uncomfortable at the moment, I should imagine, the Australian coach.
Robbie Farah! Wait here now, Sam. Go, very
Great
good.
test match, you know.
Westwood, Widdop, Shaw, Ablett, trying to twist his way through.
James Samuel!
10 metres short of the halfway line.
Go. 4.
Widdop, along the line it goes to Tompkins, and suddenly things are beginning to develop, but the
last tackle
on Callum Watkins.
Good play that by England, but great tackle again. England.
The 6, Sinfield will put it high. Now where's this coming down? Where's this coming down? It's a nice-ish bounce though for Morris. Steps away from the initial challenge of Thomas Burgess, but enough players in white shirts to get up there.
They did well there, England, because you need to get that block early. Don't give him any more meters because he's quick and he's strong. And great chase from the England team.
Well, there's a problem here. I think it's Ben Westwood.
Yeah. He's got a stray boot, I think.
Release!
He's picked himself up a little groggily. Well, you see the problem. There's no hiding that problem, is there? Australia rolling on, taking it back towards the 40-metre mark. 4 tackles gone. And the referee will stop it here because Ben Westwood is in danger of getting in the way of things.
Hey. Tackle 4.
And you can see what the problem is. A little bit of claret.
Not much subtlety to that, is there, really?
No. Stop the blood.
Wipe his face and get on with the game.
I think he's got blood on his shirt now. The referee's saying that he's got to leave the field to change his uniform.
I just think he catches a stray elbow or knee.
Presumably the strapping round his back is for the tracking device, is it?
Yeah,
to see how
see what happens here. I think he just gets a boot and
he cops a knee, doesn't he? Cops the knee to the head, I think.
So off we go again. An hour played, only 6 points in it. Australia lead.
Go. Very good.
Here comes Cronk with a kick. Tompkins puts a bit of a sprint on to run it back at that chasing Australia line. Right up well enough.
Release now, Robbie! Watch it!
Oh, it's going off here. Westwood's getting involved. Andrew Fifita. The England players not happy with something that Fifita was getting involved with there.
Tackle 1. Sam. 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 Sam.
I think he smiles.
Andrew, don't push up.
Well, he's looked the leg. The leg. Now, just a bit of an extra push. There wasn't too much problem with Fifita there, was there?
Not really. Let's have a look.
I think what they're complaining about is the leg lift from Fifita. See his dangerous position he puts Sam Tompkins' knee in.
Drives it down, doesn't he? Yeah.
I think that's what's angered the England players.
But the referee said play on. He's calmed things down and says play on. So that was tackle 1 and this is tackle 2. And England looking to roll it again here. And they get a penalty.
Good penalty.
A penalty which will take them back in the Australia half.
I think this is working out for England. I think the Australians will tie here. If England can look after the ball, they'll come home the stronger.
So attack restarts.
Good kick as well, Dave.
Just 25 metres away. And here comes Hill to drive it in. With the first carry forward.
Hey, get to me, Robbie.
Sinfield. Widdop to Chase.
Like
a heat-seeking missile. Sam Fide came running through.
Read that play so well.
This now is Burgess, Thomas Burgess, with a good carry. Takes them to within 5. Sinfield's a dummy half. Picks up, plays it back. Hill running in, offloads. Westwood leaves it. England still have it just. Sam Burgess to his feet. Sinfield across to Rangi Chase. Chase with Westwood. Westwood now runs it in. Thaiday again with another important tackle. Here comes the last. The play the ball is very scruffy. Very scruffy. And the referee pings them for that.
That's a poor play of the ball.
Giving it a knock on there, isn't
he? He didn't play, he didn't just put on the ground, didn't he?
You don't get many opportunities at this level, and I can't impress enough upon our viewers. And there's the knock. He lost his footing again with the turf, but clearly a knock on. In that part of the field, you won't get that many opportunities at a test match of this level.
The desperation to play the ball quickly there, wasn't it?
I think he's got to go off, hasn't he?
He's got to go. Train up. Train up. Train up. Train up. Yes,
well, England won't want him to go here because, I mean, he gave that penalty, that knock on, but he's a real influence, isn't he, Ben Westwood? And
he is.
Well, he's not for the next 5 minutes. I think he'll have to have his head stitched. They'll want to get him back on and off of the field as quickly as they possibly can.
So Westwood goes off, and Ferris is the man who comes on in his place. And the extra encouragement here for England is no James Graham today, no Sean O'Loughlin today, both, we think, back for the rest of the tournament, so that only strengthens England from here, doesn't it?
Well, Coach McNamara said that he had 24 test match players, and that's what he wants. These players are playing well enough to keep their spots as well, remember.
There is James Graham and Tom Briscoe alongside him. The winger is on his way to Leeds, of course, next year, having signed from Hull. Australia looking to battle themselves out of trouble. Greg Inglis.
Sam Burgess! Hold now. Hold now.
For England, 24 now for Australia. They are inching towards a win here, including goals.
There's a lot of time left, though. Yeah. There's a lot of time left. 15 minutes, you know, with tired bodies. I just think that playing the right areas first of all. Still got the power up front to trouble the Australians, definitely.
They could do with an Australian mistake here, forced or otherwise. As Australia look to play out with Fifita.
Good run, Fifita there.
Robbie Farah in that role now in the absence of Cameron Smith. And in fact, Cameron Smith is up there as well.
Yeah,
they've got them both on, haven't they?
Yeah.
Cameron Smith's playing at the back of the scrum.
You noticed, you know, 2 kickers. That's all. They'll have a kicking game now. They'll have like three kickers in the triangle.
This is Thurston, looking left, Inglis, track well, put down well enough by Callum Watkins. Australia pick it up and quickly get on with it, and here comes Farah and just dribbles it. Well, he wanted to put that out of play, I think, but Sam Tompkins will take it.
Great kick, that is mine. I thought he wanted to put it out to play, but it's an even better kick now with his thing in field.
Just for our Australians, that's what Australia can do to you. Remember where they took the ball? That was from a kick-off, and they finished 1 metre from the opposition try line. That's the method and the mythology that they go into, and that's the effort that they can put into test match football.
Big tackle.
Here's Sinfield. Across the line, England go. Rangi Chase. It's Kutjo.
Great time!
Ryan Hall will have a little dabble down the blind side and then decides to come back into the middle again. Oh, it's untidy. It's still gone backwards. The referee says play on. Here comes Widdop. Picks it up for England. Bounces away from Inglis.
Last tackle, Greg!
Old Melbourne teammates.
It's a big kick from Callum Watkins, and that's turned into an excellent kick from Callum Watkins. Billy Slater collects. Here comes Brett Morris. England's line is set and ready. Just as well it was, as Kutjo collars him. Tate for the Australians.
Come on, Tom. George.
This is Robbie Farah. 13 minutes of this opening contest to go.
George, move! Come on now.
What a big 13 minutes they promised to be.
Yeah.
Here comes Cameron Smith again here. Shuffled forward by Fifita.
He's playing like standoff now, Cameron Smith, isn't he?
Up now, Carl!
Such a great footballer.
Come on now.
Farah. Fall to his left, opposite back on the inside.
There he is, standoff.
Last tackle.
Cameron Smith.
6 tackle. Cronk, high kick, Billy Slater runs after this, was bundled over. Bundled over. I think Ablett saw what was coming there and ran into Billy Slater. So the penalty goes Australia's way.
It's the right call from the referee. It's hard to argue against this one.
Yeah, just
There's
watch.
that set play, Cronk and Slater. You can't do that.
Why would you do that?
What are we doing? Robbie.
I know they're tap
I'm
look.
going to take them back, so you've got to wait till I finish if you're going to tap.
This is it. They're going for the.
Whoa, get on the line.
This is the killer punch now. They know they've got
Wait.
2 scores in front. Now they'll go for the try. Another 2 points would make much difference.
Here's
This is
Gallen.
it. This is crunch time for England.
Here's Gallen. England have to hang on here. Farah spins it back. Cameron Smith cross to Luke Lewis on this right-hand side. Lewis offers, then tries to take them on himself, but he's put down on this occasion. That's 2 tackles gone, 4 still to go. Cronk again. Here comes Cameron Smith.
Lee Mossam, let go! Hold here.
England defenders let go. Cronk. Thurston looks to his left and sees Inglis. Inglis takes them on, takes on Watkins, but he's across there to make the tackle, Callum Watkins. Important challenge as well. Thurston now, spun to the middle and Gallen. Gallen looks up and gallops forward.
A short
Great offload. Here comes Brent Tate, running back against the grain of that defence. Offloads to Thurston. Thurston looks for the inside ball and then for the try line. He's put down. Desperately good England defending at the moment. They've 1 more to go. Kick by Farah into the in-goal area. And Charnley will carry it out and concede the dropout, but that's all he could do.
Billy Slater's timing of his run, perfect. A great defence. Just watch this. Great defence. Cudjoe. Oh.
Time off.
So the dropout underneath the sticks. There's more heavy labour to go here, Brian Noble.
11 minutes. England have to hang on here because they've
let's
still
go.
got a chance in this game. And
They have.
Time on.
Territory, you know, it's 50% each. But our possession is 50. There you are, look, second half possession, 62%.
Let go, Leroy! Come on, George.
With the evidence
George,
of
please.
that welter of possession, how well have England done to keep it down to 24-16?
There's not much between these 2 sides,
No,
David.
there's not.
If you could even up the amount of possession that both...
Oh, he's lost that. Fafita's lost that. And the touch judge points at an English player
Cudjoe, I think.
and says it was stolen. The referee therefore gives the penalty.
Robbie, what are you doing? You're going to tap this mark.
Let's have a look. Yeah.
Brett
I'm not
Ferris,
sure. I
let
thought he might have
go!
been pulling at his arm. Anyway, here we go. Well, he is quite confident, Darius Boyd, that he scored the try here.
Need to check the possible obstruction.
Possible obstruction. They'll be looking at the grounding as well. So let's hear from the video referee.
Looking at obstruction first and where the ball is passed from. If he runs behind the man. That point is not. He's released the ball, so that's fine. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that from that angle. Can I just have an angle, please, from behind? And if we can just slow it down when the guys get near. Okay, so we're looking to see if the Australian player runs behind his own man or if he releases the ball first. And on that, it looks like he's released the ball before he runs behind him, so let's play on. So if we can now go to grounding and make sure he grounds the ball cleanly. And the ball is grounded correctly. Can I just have a go back, jog that back, please, and watch the left arm to make sure the left arm is in the field of play. And jog it on from now. And the arm is up still, the arm's up. The ball is down now, that's a try.
Darius Boyd has a big look at the big screen, knowing what's coming next, surely. It is a try for Australia. And it might just be the moment that makes absolutely certain of an Australian victory in this opening game.
Well, it's a good finish from Darius Boyd. Gets really low and hard, and he's the end of the player. A big right to left shift from the Australian team, but I still have a question mark as to whether Gareth Widdop was taken out, which is 2 defenders in from the sideline here, but here's the penalty that led to the field position. Cudjoe playing at the ball, and you'd have to say that the touch judge got that right. And here's where we're looking. This is just Cudjoe, Charnley on attempt on Boyd, which wasn't quite good enough in the end. Too much to do, but I think the question mark over the try has to be is whether Gareth Widdop here, who's seen number 14 in the jumper, whether he's impeded from getting across to help those 2 defenders. Now that'd be my question, and
yeah, I don't think he'd have got there, to be honest. The only thing, the dummy runners early doors in that move just hold everyone tight, which then causes the outside defence to drift away. And when you cannot drift on someone like Greg Inglis or, you know, Billy Slater, because they're too quick and they make too many yards. So they've got to come out of the block. It's very difficult.
So here comes Thurston from the touchline. He's already kicked 4 from 5 before this attempt. He's hit it low and skilling again, and this time he's not going to get anyone near that little bounce from Jonathan Thurston, because I think the England fans behind him were giving the bird there. But it is 16 for England, 28 for Australia, and maybe they can just sit and relax a little now. 9 minutes to play. England would have to score 2 tries and 2 goals to get themselves level in this game.
Well, they're capable of it, and I would still ask.
So Rich by Cronk. Just went backwards. Don't forget that coming up on BBC 2 in a short while, 4:30 p.m. kickoff, Wales against Italy. So the other host, the co-host Wales, Iestyn Harris's Wales against an Italian side who are making their debut in a Rugby League World Cup, but who, of course, will be not full international in that warm-up game against England last week, pulled off one of the biggest upsets in Rugby League international history. So that promises to be a terrific game as well. Here, Australia looking to run away with it if they can. English well watched. Thurston. They'll be desperate now not to let Australia in for another try, because at the moment it doesn't look too bad, doesn't it?
Well, it wouldn't be a fair reflection of the game.
On the 6th tackle, the ball is put high. Hall is in the in goal area when he catches, so he's allowed to run it back to the 20-metre where the tap can be taken. And here is Ryan Hall. Left it goes to Cudjoe.
One there, let's go. Hold here, hold. Go.
Tompkins.
Let go, Paul.
Sinfield is the man at dummy half here. Big trundle forward by George Burgess.
Andrew, let go.
Sure, big brother Luke is watching back in Australia.
Go.
Widdop.
Get up, Jonathan, get up.
Against his Melbourne teammate, Cameron Smith, who had a little bit of a nibble after the tackle was completed, pulling at the ankle, so the penalty goes England's way, and Sinfield has put it up. There's still a chance here. 6 minutes to play. If England can score on this set, there's still a chance. Here they come. Sinfield. Widdop. This now is Ferris.
Yeah, a little bit of zip into it, though.
Good ball.
Leroy Cudjoe is the man at dummy half. Rangi Chase takes it on. Big drive forward from George Burgess again. Testing the late resolve of this Australian line.
He's been immense. I tell you, George Burgess has been absolutely immense.
Push them back. Sinfield picks it up, spins it out. Ferris
ball was on.
Needed a quick hands.
Yeah.
Needed a quick hands, but he couldn't quite get it away. Australian defenders in his face. Ferris picks up and plays it. Here comes Sinfield again. This now Rangi Chase. Offers it to George Burgess. Onto Widdop. Widdop with a quick pass. But Tompkins lets it go. Out it goes to Charnley. He can finish from the seemingly impossible. Not this time. Not this time. Held up 8 yards away.
Plenty tackles left.
Back to the middle they come again. Sam Burgess this time. With a step. Wanted the offload, but Gallen had it read. Covered his options. Sinfield. Oh, it's a kick that's lateral. But it's still in English hands. Widdop now. Little chip over the top. Where's this going? Bounces all over the place. Caught eventually off the floor by Luke Lewis.
It was a bit made up and manufactured, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Which sometimes can work for you. You know, you hope you get the bounce of the ball in those situations. And really important that England keep Australia this part of the field now, because they'll still get an opportunity.
Trying to blast it away through Fifita.
Move! George.
That's 3 tackles. They're barely up to the 10-metre line, but then it's taken on by Robbie Farah. That's a good little relieving run from...
You know, it's solid today. Didn't have many opportunities. The forwards were immense, but as we said, just basics, discipline, a few handling errors were the difference. But great opportunity now for England to build through this World Cup. You know, they've got some tough games, and it looks like if they get the semi-final, they get straight into New Zealand. You know, I expect them to top their group as well, which will be one hell of a game. But I think they can build on this performance throughout the World Cup.
Well, England will play Ireland at Huddersfield next week, a game you will again see on the BBC, and then Fiji a week later. If they win both those games, they will go through to the knockout stages with a wind in their sails and a real hope as well. And they've set themselves a platform here today. That's what they've done. They've lost this game. They've missed out on the opportunity of bloodying Australia's nose in that first game and maybe avoiding New Zealand in the semi-finals. But the loss to Italy last week, the internal disciplinary problems during the week, it looked as though the world was falling apart. But England's World Cup is very much back on track.
Jonathan Thurston, congratulations, man of the match as well. How do you assess the team's performance out there?
A little bit rusty to start with. You know, a few drop balls in that first half, which put us under the pump, and you know, England got a couple of tries there. But full credit to the boys. We stuck to our game plan and got away with it in the end.
Were they tougher than maybe you were expecting?
Oh no, we always know how tough it's going to be when we come up against England. They're a quality side, they've got great players, and you know, they really stuck it to us this afternoon. But you know, full credit to our boys, they stuck to the game plan and we got away with it.
You didn't have a warm-up game, so I guess you were bound to be a little bit rusty, weren't you? You haven't played together for a long time.
Yeah, that's right. So you know, that's a part of footy. You know, I thought our boys in the second half really controlled the game. We were put under the pump by the England side, and you know, the boys just stuck to their guns and we got away with it.
It was a pretty physical game, wasn't it? And the Burgess boys, you know them well, but they came at you.
Yeah, they did. You know, their whole packs are a very good pack, so they kept coming at us and kept testing us. So, you know, we're glad to get the win, and you know, we've got to prepare for the next game.
Congratulations, Jonathan. Bring in the England coach, Steve McNamara. Steve, I know you'll be disappointed with the defeat. You've got a huge amount to take from that performance, haven't you?
Oh yeah, we've played reasonably well throughout that game. I think the way we started the game off was great. We lost our way in that second 20 minutes of the first half, and we stopped playing a little bit, which was disappointing. I think we were troubling Australia and just needed to find some energy, and we did at certain stages. But you know, too many penalties we give away today, and too much field position.
You know it, everybody knows it, but the intensity, isn't it? It's to find that intensity for that full 80 minutes.
Yeah, you know, we dropped off on a couple of occasions, and against the best team in the world, you know, as they are right now, then you know, they make you pay the price. But we've got lots to work with on that.
A huge amount. I mean, there's been so much build-up, and there's been difficulties on that. How important for you, for the team, to go out there, post that kind of performance, and really make people sit up and take notice?
Look, you know, as a coach, you've got to do your job week in, week out, and we did our job this week. Like I said, we got 17 blokes who really deserve the shirt this week. We've got 7 blokes who are desperate to be in the side next week, and that's what we need.
Well done, Steve.
Thank you.
Always slightly difficult to hear the questions when the teams for the following game are being announced. But Steve McNamara, man of the match, Jonathan Thurston with Tanya. So that's how the group stands. Australia obviously top it, and England prop up Fiji and Ireland as well. You can see all the fixtures. Remember, there are 3 teams that qualify from Group A. It is part of a double header here on the BBC, that England and Australia game. So coming up, we've got Wales against Italy. That will be on BBC Two. We're on for another 2.5 hours on that channel, so we'll get plenty of thoughts from John and from Earl and Brian Noble as well. Keep your thoughts coming as well on Twitter and on Facebook. England have been beaten by Australia, but there is hope, and the Cup is up and running.